Welcome back to our van build series. We're in week 7 of our build. 7, that's right. Okay. And we still have not gotten our windows in. We hope to get those in next week, so that might be the next to last video before our grand tour that you will see those in. But this week we plan to finish up the bed area, hopefully get this ceiling in finally, and finish our kitchen with the butcher block countertops, hopefully. So that's what we got to look forward to this week. Keep watching and see. We're going to go to IKEA to get some blinds for the van, but look at this. Line starts all the way back there. All the way up here. What time did they open? Are they open 10 o'clock?
They opened 45 minutes ago.
Crap.
I am working on finishing the charging system. This panel is going to live underneath this cabinet. On this side, the battery bank will be right here. That panel is going to be on the back wall, and on this wall is going to be our inverter. And then the wires you see there will run up to the switches and the fuses and then head out to their various components in the van. So right now I'm working on getting this set up the way I want it so that it'll look nice and clean and tidy on the back of the van there. Here's where I am so far. I have the charge controllers both hooked up, the one that'll run off the alternator and the solar one, very close to the battery, so they'll be nice and efficient. All these cables are running up to the controller area here. Solar's going up to the roof, and just working on wiring everything. I ended up running negatives for the lights and the 12-volt sockets and the refrigerator, just so they go directly into the charge controller, so it is very efficient at determining how much load there is and all that. And then the water pump and inverter will be just directly connected to the batteries down here, because those are higher loads that'll also only run for a short amount of time. The inverter's there to run the hot water heater, which we're only going to use for 20 minutes at a time. And then the water pump is the same, so it doesn't really need to go, nor could it go through the charge controller. I began wiring the solar controller, but I can't do too much until the batteries get here. And then also I run to Lowe's to actually get some cable ends for these, some rings to actually attach to the battery. So I am moving on to creating a panel for here that the switches will go on, the Bluetooth module for the charge controller, and then later on, if we want to add any sort of gauges or status monitors, it'll give us a spot for that. We're also going to have a couple of USB ports and 12-volt ports in here, so it will kind of create a little charging station. My plan is to have the panel back as far as possible so the wires can run behind it, but still have enough room up here so we can charge like a drone or some batteries, anything like that you can charge off of 12-volt. So Ashley and I just got back from Habitat for Humanity, and I was able to buy a large roll of this 14 gauge double strand wire from there. It was only $5. I don't know if you can see that. It was $5. So I spent the afternoon, well, the early afternoon, rewiring the entire van with this stuff, because now we're going to have all the negatives come to the solar charge controller, so for the lighter load items, so it'll be a little more efficient and then also more accurate on how on the power outputs and whatnot, instead of having a common ground or a common negative be the chassis of the actual van. I am at a stopping point for today until more stuff comes in the mail. but we have our battery, one of two of them that we're gonna have, 100 amp hour AMG batteries. So this strap is set up for 2 batteries, and then we're gonna have another block to keep it from shifting back and forth. But if we get bigger batteries at some point, I don't wanna have to redo it. The solar charger controller is installed, as well as the DC to DC charger. This will charge it off of the alternator on the car. This will charge it off the solar panels. The solar panel, one 200 watt panel, will be coming in the mail in a couple days. These wires run up, will be behind the wall to here, which is where this panel, it's hard to tell, but you'll see later. This panel will live, the fuses and everything, and then all the lights and everything will run to here, and then it'll be clean. Actually, let me just show you real quick. This is how this panel inside of this is gonna look. We're gonna have switches at the top. We have a 12 volt outlet. There'll be another 12 volt outlet on the switch panel. The fuses are gonna live behind here because we don't need to see them, and I don't plan on blowing fuses that often. It'll be hinged and it'll be more finished. This is just the rough layout. So all the wires will be hidden behind there, and then we will be able to charge items off the various 12 volt and USB plugs that are in there. But all the wires are essentially hidden behind that false wall there. So it'll be nice and clean, and there'll be a door on here.
Today's the day we've all been waiting for. We are finally installing our ceiling. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. So we're getting ready to cut our first, or I guess our second light hole.
Am I good?
Yep. So we're putting these lights in 2 feet apart. Perfect fit. Now I can work on the van at night.
Yeah, no.
So we're back at IKEA. Gonna try this again. We came before they opened. Bought Dunkin' to eat in line. Now we're gonna stand in line. I don't see a line yet.
Yeah, there is a line.
There's a little teeny line though compared to yesterday. So let's go try this again. Huh?
IKEA doesn't open for half an hour, and there's already a line outside, literally wrapping around the side of the building.
But we have food, so we're gonna be good. I want to show what we ended up getting at IKEA. We went to IKEA to get blinds, but of course the one thing we go there for, they're completely out of. And we didn't want to stand in line again, so we got all this for the van. A little dustpan. These are little spice shelves that we're going to put inside the wall of the van. We also got 2 pillows, a mattress, cutting board, not pad, and a little fruit bag. So just little stuff for the van, so we didn't have to go back to IKEA even though we didn't get what we wanted.
The solar panel came in today. It's pretty much dark, so I'm not going to install it, but I did get the brackets all hooked up. We have some 5 or 6 mil thick aluminum flat stock that is drilled. I mean, these aren't going anywhere. The frame itself bends before these do, so they should be good. If they wiggle or vibrate at all, we'll work on the mounting. But once I get it up there, I'm going to kind of pull up on it and see how strong it really is. But it's going into some T-tracks that I screwed in with sheet metal screws quite a long time ago. So that is what the awning is attached to. So I'm going to get this installed first thing in the morning. I am getting ready to install the solar panel on the top of the van. And I just wanted to share the specs of this panel. It's a 200 watt panel with about 11 amps of current. So it should be plenty. We don't have a lot of power. It'll be enough to charge the batteries as well as run the fan and refrigerator during the day, and then probably a couple USB powered devices. So up top, we have the cables are running through. We're doing the solar panel sideways like this, so we have room in the back to add a rooftop carrier or other panels if we want to later. So it does hang off the side just a little. Aesthetically, it doesn't bother us at all, and it leaves a lot of room in the back for our rooftop carrier if we want to add it or make a little platform later also. But essentially it's held in. I gotta slide it back on these T-tracks on each side. And then with 1/4 inch stainless steel hardware. It is official. The solar panel is hooked up. We have power coming in. Hard to tell. It's connected to a circuit breaker. I'm gonna get that mounted here in a second. But even on an awful rainy day like today, we're getting about we're getting 1.71 amps into the battery, which is awesome. With the solar up and running, I was able to move on to wiring the rest of the van, which all of the wiring for the various lights, the refrigerator, the water pump, all come to here. They all come to a fuse bank and then a switch to where they go out to their various places. So we have this fuse bank, or this switch bank, with the various stuff, and it is all up and running. We have a little USB charger, the 12 volt, another 12 volt under here, and then eventually we're going to have a 12 volt back on this wall. But and kind of give you there's going to be a little shelf here, and there'll be a 12 volt where we can put our phones and stuff to charge at night. We also will have an area where we can plug in this 12-volt fan that I already had. And then the refrigerator is in. It's not bolted down yet, but it is wired up. It is working, and it's...
We finally got our fabric picked out. Went with a coral rust color, and I think I'm gonna go with the blue and the cream in our van. But when I was checking out the fabric, the woman was like, "It's so funny. Everyone that comes in here always buys the color that they're wearing. The only thing I own in this color, and I was aware." So we're getting started on our cushions I talked about earlier. I just got some plyboard to put in it. Cushions are here, and now we're going to cut out the plyboard that will be going under the cushions, as this is a cheaper way to do it than getting cushions made. So let's see how it goes. And the first cushion is done. And I think it looks okay. What do you think, Colin?
That looks nice.
That's all.
That
Looks like it. Looks all.
So, also, a couple items came in the mail. One of which I will show you now, and then also show you a little side project towards the front of the van. So, the first item is our Dometic toilet finally came in. It was on back order, took a while, so I didn't have it for the first outing. But essentially this is the 5-gallon version. So we're excited about that. I'm going to be building a platform for it at some point so it raises up off the ground a little bit. So when you take a shower, the water goes right into the drain there. So besides that, the inside of the shower is essentially done. And then the other project is out here. When I got back from Charleston, we had a small water leak. The water pump started leaking, so they're really cheap for these and really easy to replace, so might as well just replace it. So tomorrow I will be replacing this water pump with a brand new one, and that is one less item that we have to worry about when we're on the road, knowing that it has a new water pump.